This is going to blow your mind. There are people who have survived the impossible, mysteries that defy logic, and places so deep that even light doesn't dare to enter. Welcome to Believe It or Not from DARSPACE, the show where reality is stranger than fiction, and the unbelievable becomes everyday. Here, every story is a puzzle, every fact a challenge to reason, and every episode an invitation to question everything you thought you knew about the world. Get ready to dive into stories so amazing they seem straight out of a movie, but they happened in real life. We'll reveal the most astonishing secrets of the human body, the mind, and the limits of science. Stories that defy logic, mysteries that science still can't explain, and feats that seem impossible. Are you ready to discover what no one else dares to tell? Because here, on Believe It or Not from DARSPACE, reality is stranger than fiction. Stick around until the end to discover the deepest and most terrifying mystery on the planet. And remember, if you love puzzles that challenge reason, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any mysteries. Because what you're about to hear could change the way you see life and death forever. Believe it or not, this is DARSPACE. In 2011, a man named Craig Lewis arrived at the Texas Heart Institute on the brink of death. His heart, destroyed by a rare disease, could no longer pump blood, and doctors told his wife there was no hope. However, doctors Bud Frazier and Billy Cohn had an idea so radical it seemed impossible. What if they replaced Craig's heart with a machine? Not a transplant, but literally, living without a heart. The operation was a leap of faith. The surgeons removed Craig's heart and put a continuous flow circulatory device in its place. This device doesn't beat, it has no pulse, it just keeps the blood flowing constantly. When they finished, the doctors approached Craig's bed, connected the cables, and waited. There was no heartbeat, no pulse. But, against all odds, Craig opened his eyes. The most incredible thing is that, even without a heart, Craig was awake. He could talk and move his limbs. Doctors checked his brain activity with an electroencephalogram, and everything seemed normal. It was as if his body had accepted the machine as something natural. His wife, seeing him wake up, couldn't hold back her tears. No one in the operating room could believe what they were seeing. For the first time in history, a human being was living without a heart and without a pulse. Doctors visited him daily, fascinated by the technological miracle before their eyes. Craig, for his part, said he felt a slight hum in his chest, but nothing more. He felt no pain, no distress, just a strange calm. He became the first patient in the world to live without a heartbeat. The news spread quickly. Media from all over the world wanted to meet the man without a heart. Craig was interviewed, photographed, and observed by experts from different fields. The question was unavoidable. What does it mean to be alive? If the heart is no longer essential, where does life reside? In the mind, in the blood, in consciousness? Craig Lewis's case opened up an ethical and philosophical debate that continues today. Could technology replace other vital organs? Will we, at some point, be more machine than human? The doctors at the Texas Heart Institute continued to improve the device, dreaming of a future where death from heart failure is just a distant memory. Craig lived for several months with the device, enjoying his family and appreciating every extra day that science gave him. Although he eventually passed away from complications unrelated to the artificial heart, his story was recorded as one of the most astonishing in modern medicine. His legacy inspired thousands of patients and professionals worldwide. The most unsettling thing about it all is that during that time, Craig had no pulse. If someone took his wrist, they felt nothing. But he was there, awake, talking, laughing. The line between life and death suddenly became much more blurry. How many more could cross that threshold in the future? Craig's story forces us to rethink everything we know about life. If the heart stops beating, but the mind is still alive, where does one end and the other begin? Are we just flesh and organs, or is there something deeper that defines us as humans? Perhaps the answer lies in the very mystery of existence. On a small Caribbean island, Barbados, there is a mystery that has puzzled entire generations, the tomb that moves itself. It all began in the early 19th century in the Chase Mausoleum, a family crypt sealed with a heavy marble door. Every time someone died and they opened the tomb, the coffins appeared disarranged, as if something or someone had moved them. The first time, the family thought it was a mistake. But upon opening the crypt again and again, the phenomenon repeated itself. The coffins, some made of lead and very heavy, were overturned, stacked, or in impossible positions. There were no signs of robbery, no footprints, nothing to indicate an intrusion. The mystery grew, and people began to talk about curses and ghosts. The authorities decided to intervene. They sealed the tomb with a thick layer of cement and placed an intact wax seal on the door. Months passed. When they finally opened it, the seal was still intact, but the coffins were, again, disarranged. No one could explain how it was possible. Fear gripped the community, and Barbados was filled with rumors. Some thought it could be earthquakes or floods, but meteorological and geological records ruled out any natural phenomenon. Others, more skeptical, spoke of pranksters or grave robbers, but the absence of footprints and the weight of the coffins made this theory almost impossible. The mystery grew deeper and deeper. The story of the Chase Mausoleum was investigated by scientists and curious people from all over the world. Measurements were taken, maps of the crypt were drawn, and all possible details were analyzed. But, again and again, the evidence pointed to the inexplicable. The coffins kept moving, defying all logic and reason. Over time, the tomb was abandoned. No one wanted to be buried there, and the Chase family stopped using the mausoleum. However, the enigma persists. To this day, no one has been able to solve how or why the coffins moved by themselves. Was it a supernatural force, or is there an even more mysterious explanation waiting to be discovered? This case has become a legend, inspiring books, documentaries, and even horror movies. But beyond the myth, the Chase Mausoleum remains one of the most unsettling enigmas in history. A reminder that sometimes reality can be much stranger than fiction. Perhaps someday science will manage to explain what happened in that Barbados tomb. But in the meantime, the mystery remains, challenging all who dare to seek answers. And you, would you dare to enter the tomb that moves itself? In 1997, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, picked up an enigmatic sound in the depths of the Pacific Ocean. They called it the Bloop. It was a noise so powerful, so deep, and so strange that even the experts didn't immediately know where it came from. The recording was so clear that the hydrophones, installed thousands of kilometers away, picked it up almost simultaneously. And, well, nobody could explain it. The Bloop was recorded near Antarctica, in a remote and practically unexplored region. The most baffling thing is that the sound was much louder than that of any known animal. Not even the blue whale, the largest animal on the planet, can generate a sound of that magnitude. That's why, for years, it was speculated that it could be something completely unknown beneath the waters. Scientists analyzed the frequency and pattern of the Bloop. It was a low-frequency sound, very powerful and sustained. When they compared it to recordings of whales, dolphins, and other marine mammals, they found no matches. So, of course, the wildest theories began to circulate. Some even suggested it could be a colossal creature, something out of a Lovecraft novel. But come on, how likely is it that such a large being exists, capable of producing such a sound? Science, of course, looked for more rational explanations. Some researchers proposed that the Bloop could be due to the fracturing of a giant iceberg. When enormous blocks of ice break and collide underwater, they generate really powerful and strange sounds. However, the mystery didn't end there. For years, NOAA tried to replicate the phenomenon and record similar sounds. Although they did record iceberg noises, none were as intense or peculiar as the Bloop. The unknown continued to fuel stories of sea monsters and unknown creatures inhabiting the depths. The depths of the ocean are, honestly, one of the least explored places on Earth. More than 80% of the oceans remains unexplored territory, so, who knows, maybe down there exist life forms we can't even imagine. The Bloop became a symbol of everything we still don't understand about the planet. Nowadays, the iceberg theory is the most accepted, but many are still unconvinced. Mystery lovers prefer to think that, in some dark and deep corner, something gigantic moves and emits sounds that defy logic. And, truly, the ocean has plenty of space to hide its secrets. The fascinating thing about the Bloop is how a simple sound can open the door to so many questions. What else is hiding in the depths? How many mysteries are yet to be discovered underwater? The ocean, with its shadows and its silence, remains a vast enigma for humanity. So, the next time you hear about the Bloop, remember, sometimes the unknown doesn't need an explanation. It simply exists, challenging our curiosity and reminding us that there is still much to discover on this blue planet. In In the most remote corner of the Pacific Ocean, there's a place so deep it almost seems unreal, the Challenger Deep, in the Mariana Trench. It is without a doubt the deepest known point of the Earth's crust. We're talking about almost 11,000 meters below sea level, a depth so abysmal that, honestly, it's hard to imagine. To get there, only a few humans have dared to go down. Among them, Victor Vescovo, an explorer and adventurer, managed to make one of history's most extreme journeys aboard the submersible limiting factor. The trip down took several hours, going through total darkness and handling pressures that would crush any normal submarine. As the submersible goes down, the light completely disappears. All is silent, except for the sounds of the machine itself and the depth counter that keeps moving forward. The pressure is so strong that any mistake could be deadly. It is truly one of the toughest places on the planet. When they finally reach the bottom, what they find is actually surprising. There is life, even if it seems impossible. Small amphipods, snailfish, and creatures that have learned to live in extreme conditions. Setting: a plastic bag. Yes, even in the deepest place on the planet, humans have left their mark. It's a harsh reminder of how far our actions reach. The darkness is almost total, broken only by the submersible's lights. The temperature is almost freezing, and the pressure is like having almost 1,000 elephants on your head. Even so, life keeps going, getting used to the impossible and surprising everyone. The Challenger Deep remains in many ways a mystery. Each trip finds new kinds of animals, new ways of living, and more questions than answers. It's a reminder that, even though we know a lot about Earth, there are still parts that are hidden and full of secrets. Exploring these depths is really like traveling to another planet. Technology, bravery, and human curiosity come together to go where no one else has gone. And, who knows, maybe one day we'll find something that completely changes how we see the world. For now, the Challenger Deep remains the deepest place on the planet. A deep hole that holds Earth's oldest secrets and reminds us how little we, truly, know about our own home. A man who came back from the dead, a tomb that defies logic, a sound no one can explain, and an abyss that hides the planet's secrets. Some say the truth is out there. I say the truth is already here. I'm DARSPACE, and this was Believe It or Not. In the next episode, a body that moves after death, a statue that cries human blood, and a recorded voice from space. You'll see it, you'll hear it, and still, you won't believe it. Coming soon on Believe It or Not from DARSPACE.